Hello, devoted United Sessions fans. Welcome back. Look, this is going to be a little bit strange. I know the episode title says this is Season 3, Episode 12.
It does say that.
It is not. This is Season 3, Episode 13.
Why didn't you tell me that before I put up the episode title?
Well, because I didn't realize our wonderful draft episode we did with our friends over at Ex Novo didn't ever actually make it onto the pod. So
there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
As the person who does the editing here, I feel I should explain.
Yeah, unpack it.
I did edit it, and it was 2.5 hours. And it took a long time for me to edit that episode. And then the podcast service that we use said, no, this is too large of a file. And so the live stream, you can still go find the live stream. It's recorded. It's on our social media channels.
But
it never made it. The audio never made it to the podcast distribution channels.
But we'll call this one
Spotify, whatever.
We'll call it a white swan because we did not expect that. But our guest today actually has a particular affinity for the number 13.
Frank Holloway.
Yeah, there he is.
It's actually my sister. My sister's favorite number is 13. So anytime it's close to 13, I got to give a shout out to my sister, Diane Holloway. So yeah, 13's her favorite number by far.
Shout out, Dan. Shout out, Dan.
Shout outs around. Salute, Dan.
Hey, Frank, welcome to the show. Excited to have you on here. For those who do not know Frank Holloway, he's a man of many titles. Two of them we will give to you right now. One is the distiller at Hollow Spirits.
Right.
The other is the owner at Hollow Spirits.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you could put janitor, you could put everything else. So,
yeah,
but
I think you run a small business. That's kind of how it works.
Are you also the head of people and culture?
I try to be. Is that your title?
That is Lucas's title. That's a pretty cool title.
Are you the director of communications, fan experience, and social media?
That's not actually included in my title, but it should. Yeah, our titles don't actually describe what we do at all.
My title's boring. It's just CEO distiller. Cool.
I mean, that's cool. No, that's a cool title. You know why I like that title? Because think about it. CEO. I'm gonna turn on the music here. I just realized it's been going this whole time.
DJ Dave.
CEO is like a very it can be like a very stuffy title, right? Yeah. Like you think of the man in the suit and all that kind of stuff. And then distiller is a very fun title. Yeah, I distill spirits. I make spirits. Those two things together are a nice, interesting dichotomy. I like that.
Yes.
I think that's cool.
Well, one of the reasons I became a CEO of a distillery is so I didn't have to wear the suits and be all puffy, so it works out for me.
Yeah. It's kind of why we work for a soccer team.
I get to come to meetings and bring beer and liquor and drink. It's fantastic.
Cheers.
No, we are so excited to have you. And again, just a little bit of pulling back the curtain. We occasionally break the fourth wall on United Sessions, but I texted you yesterday, after the home game, and I was like, man, we would really, really love to talk to you. We think you have an amazing story to tell. My wife is an educator in the APS system, and she was someone that was like, Frank has done a tremendous amount for the community. This is someone we need to talk to. So I instantly text Dave. After he's like, yes, let's go for it, I text you. Couple of logistical things work out, and then you're here.
Well, for one, thank you guys for thinking of me. Everything with United, I love United so much. But I didn't know your wife was an educator. We're actually going to have our first happy hour for educators this Friday from 4 to 6. And so we're actually going to have people over at Hollow Spirits.
Did it just get your attention, baby? I know she watches every one of the live streams.
Punzi happy hour.
Well, I figured teacher. So I have a child and I love my child, but it's really hard to deal with other people's children. And I feel like people need to do something for those guys dealing with other people's children.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I come from a family of educators, and as somebody who does not have kids, every kid is someone else's children. And so for me, I struggle with that 100%. Yeah. My mom is a teacher. My grandparents are both teachers, and I was never pushed to be a teacher or anything like that. But I knew from watching them at a young age, I don't think I would have the patience to do this.
No, and
it's a thankless job.
Absolutely. And I think me and you got a great experience in this when we volunteered with Junior Achievement. I think all of us came out of that. And it was a great experience.
Had a great time.
It was wonderful. Yeah. Great organization. Everyone should support them. But as far as professional front office soccer staff go,
could not do it.
We look at that and we're like,
I was exhausted by the end. Also, shout out to Corey Youngblood, who got nutmegged on the schoolyard twice that day. Was playing soccer with the kids, got nutmegged back to back.
Youngblood catching strays on United Sessions.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
but did they nutmeg them and get the ball? Because sometimes I was
That's a fair question. Yeah,
I was a defender, and people would nutmeg me,
but then you get the ball.
I got the ball.
It's not a nutmeg unless it's completed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Complete the meg.
Everybody would go crazy and be excited.
Sure.
I'm like,
but I got the ball. Yeah, here's the thing: you can nutmeg And like, if I nutmeg you, Frank, and the ball goes to Lukas, my teammate, then that
Then
counts.
it counts.
Or if I get it on the other side of you, that counts. But if you get it, no, that's not a nutmeg.
I had so many people like brag and get all excited, and all the friends like, oh, and I'm like, but the ball's with us now.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand. You failed.
Yeah, that's right.
DWC, it looks like we have a couple of friends in the chat. We need to shout anyone out.
Yeah, DJ Ortiz says, howdy, gents. Frank, thank you for always being good to the supporters groups. Also, could you please bring back the salt and vinegar fries? Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I do remember those.
Yes. So we actually just changed our kitchen a little bit.
So I was there for the soft opening was that Friday night?
This opening.
So now I don't have any say in what the kitchen does, but one thing I will say is try the new food. The guys who own it, it's a wet 1324. The food is fire, man.
So
it's different, but it's fire.
So you mentioned the salt and vinegar fries, DJ Ortiz. I went there on Friday for the soft opening. Actually, I went there on Friday because I went to a live radio remote to promote the game, and I did not know that you guys were doing the soft opening for the kitchen. I was like, oh, I might as well stick around. So I stuck around, brought some friends. It was a great time. You mentioned the salt and vinegar fries, and those were fantastic. What they have over there now are these spicy tots.
I like both of those words.
Spicy tots, and you can get like bacon on them. You can get like steak on them if you want. They're like loaded tots, and they have this. I don't know what the sauce is, but oh my god, they were.
Someone cue up the heavy breathing cat meme in the chat for us.
They were really, really good.
They also have these chicken skins that they fry. It's it's
chicken
amazing.
Chicharrones.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And then they have this red chili. Well, it's basically red chili, and it's so good. And
red chili chicharrones.
Everybody's gonna look at Josh Keenan, and he looks white, but he is Spanish. Just so you guys know,
I also look white, but I am white.
Well, he a little bit. You look a little bit darker than Josh, though.
The audacity of my caucasity knows no limits.
But at first, it was like he's not the one who did it, and then it was like, yeah, he did it. But he has street cred, so it's fine.
TJ Ortiz says you had me at tots. Amen to that, brother. Carlos Moreno, hello, how's it going? Cassandra Rodriguez, hello, great to see you. Welcome into the chat. Absolutely. But yeah, soft opening was a blast. The spirits have always been great at Hollow Spirits. I mean, that's something I love going there. My favorite thing on the menu is actually not a consistent thing, and that's intentional. And I'll explain that because that sounds weird. You go in there and there's literally an item on the menu that says make me something good.
Yep.
And then
my favorite.
You tell them the liquor you want and the general flavor profile you want, and they'll make whatever you want.
It every time.
They surprise you with something. So I'll go in, and you know me, I like my fruity drinks. I love that.
You love a little gin.
I do. So gin's my go-to spirit of choice. And so I'll be like, give me something with gin and make it fruity, or give me something with gin and make it citrusy, or something like that. And it's something different every time, and it's terrific. I love that.
Yeah, the only pain in the butt is that the next time you come in and you want that drink,
they do not remember.
Probably has no clue what you're talking about.
But I've solved that problem because that happened to me before.
Problem solver, David Weesey Carl.
I went in and I got something. I think I actually had. I don't remember what the liquor was, but something I really liked, and it felt like tropical. Maybe it was rum. I don't know. But I asked specifically. I asked specifically what it was that time, and I wrote it down so that I could bring it back. Otherwise, I was worried about that because it had happened to me before where I got something, make me something good. They made me something delicious. And then the next time I came back, hey, can you make me? I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many marketing ideas of what you could do with that in terms of writing it down, pinning it on the board, challenging people to different stuff.
Yeah.
Frank, you've crushed your first 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this interview, and we know nothing about you.
Oh, okay.
Who the heck are you?
Who the heck are you?
So my name is Frank Holloway. On May 24th, 1982 was a dark and stormy.
People will steal your identity.
Oh, okay.
His social security number.
So May 25th,
1975. Yeah, let's go with that.
No, basically I've been in Albuquerque I was born in Belen, lived in Los Lunas, Albuquerque pretty much my whole life, lived in Taos, New Mexican, played soccer since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Graduated from St. Pius High School.
Hey, I live near there. I'm not going to tell anybody how close because I don't want anybody to steal my identity. Close. I live on the soccer field.
He drives a Mazda.
Well, and actually being a Sarton, I gotta thank you guys for choosing your colors the way you did.
Black and yellow. Yeah. Let's go.
So I feel like you were just doing it for us.
Just for you specifically, Frank. Yeah. So the man likes black and yellow. But you mentioned you liked the game from a young age. You got into the game at a young age. How did you discover the game?
My mom forced me.
She forced you. All right.
My mom, she's also the partner in the business. But if anybody knows about my mom, she was one of those parents where it's like, you're going to do all this when you're young, and then you can have an opinion when you're old enough to have an opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
And so at first she put me in soccer, and I absolutely hated it for about the first year. And then after that, I just completely fell in love with it. And
what made that switch? Was it a different coach? Was it, because that's a big jump, right? I hated it and then I loved it.
I think it was just I wanted to play football.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to play football, and it was back in the time when nobody was playing soccer, everybody was playing football, and I didn't understand why my mom wouldn't let me play football.
Yeah.
And so it was more I was being forced to do that, but then I just loved it because for one, it was constant movement.
Sure.
Like I played baseball, and no offense to baseball,
No,
it was
baseball's
too
great.
stop and go for me. Like there was too much time in between.
Sure.
Soccer, there was always something going on.
Always moving.
And so I love the game. And then now later in life, looking back, like all my best friends I met through soccer.
Yeah.
Seriously, like my whole life is based in some way around soccer. Like the people who invested in Hollow Spirits, the people who helped me build Hollow Spirits, my friends who I go for beers with, like whether it was playing in high school, playing in adult league, or playing in the Distillers Cup this weekend. Like, it's
we
my
got to talk about that here in a
friends.
minute.
Yeah.
Distillers Cup.
Yeah. Brewers and Distillers Cup. Let's actually dive into that. How did that go?
Well, we won it last year.
Yeah, I remember.
So we won it last year.
Look at me, Louie.
But how did you do this year?
Oh, well, it's this Saturday.
Oh, it's this
So
coming Saturday.
it's
Okay.
this
I thought it
Saturday.
was last Saturday.
So we'll see.
Let's go.
Play by play and color commentary.
I will be in Colorado Springs for the United match.
I will do play by play
and color commentary like
You gotta
that,
come.
like that two-headed alien from Star Wars: The Phantom
Exactly.
Menace, played by Greg Proops. Yes, that was a very
Do you need
niche
to go
reference.
Stand outside the door.
That was
Do
a
you need to
niche
calm
reference
down
for
a
all you
second?
Star Wars nerds. Greg Proops voiced that two-headed alien that got knocked out when the explosion happened. That was Greg Proops of Whose Line Is It Anyway fame. You're welcome. All right, let's go back to your
just
story.
lost me. I don't even like. I love.
May
Star
the force
Wars.
be with you, Frank.
But whose line is it anyway? That is a great shout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frank, you did a great job answering the third question and half of the first question I had on my list. So
Beautiful.
Okay, well, what's the first question?
The first question was verbatim written. Tell us about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
This is
Who
therapy.
influenced you,
Okay.
and what inspired you? So I guess we'll just
That's a
focus in
lot of
on
questions.
who influenced you and what inspired you.
You mentioned your mom.
like to my mom is she's
the
amazing.
CFO, right?
She that woman is a genius, and I would actually say that the legacy going on now, it's not my legacy. I'm just part of my mom's legacy.
Aren't we all?
Yeah,
That's
and
beautiful.
she's just pushing me, but she's the CFO. She was the project manager in building everything. She's the one who I told her the numbers for the distillery, like I think we're gonna do.
Yeah.
She's the one who ordered the still, designed the still, got the boiler, did the electricity. She's the one who does all the finances. She's the one who anything breaks, she's the one who does it.
Mhm.
So I would say a lot of it is just her pushing me to be better than what I am.
Yeah.
And even now, she just like, hey, yeah, whenever I feel sad, it's like, cool, yeah, mijito, I'm sorry. Okay, get up, let's go.
Yeah.
I will say this. I've met her a couple of different times. She is wonderful.
Mhm.
She's exceedingly intimidating.
Yeah.
Like there's just a stare to it, right? Like when you have that
It's the
person in
strength,
your
man.
life, like there's
Strong
there's just
people.
a
Strong people
fierce-
can be intimidating.
there's a
Yeah.
fierce
She's
strength.
a viper. Like,
Yeah.
she's a 5 foot.
Two.
She says 5 foot. I don't think she's 5 foot, but Hispanic
Let's give her
woman
5'2".
who she's so sweet and so nice, but don't get me wrong, she is a viper.
Sure.
Like, just don't upset that woman.
Yeah.
And nobody ever upsets her, so it's fantastic.
She makes it very easy to not upset her.
Yeah.
She's pretty pleasant.
In the chat here, Elaine says, "Hi, Frank."
Which one? Hi, Elaine.
Elaine Briseño. And then
Oh yeah, hi, Elaine.
Chanel mentioned an important point that we did not mention. The Brewers and Distillers Cup benefits the Somos Unidos Foundation.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Frank.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
And it's not the only thing they've done to benefit the club, the Somos Unidos Foundation.
Well, let's dive
and
into
all of
that.
that. Yeah.
So back in the days of yore, before I worked for the club, I was I headed up, the Curse. I was
Yes.
one of the folks who.
That's how I met you.
Yeah, exactly. I was one of the folks who helped make that happen and had a lot of really great support there. And Frank, you were an incredible supporter of us even back then in our early days. I remember painting tifo in your distillery, which you were brave to let us do because that's chemicals and stuff that could get in the wrong place and all that kind of stuff. But you had everything locked down, and you were so kind and welcoming to us. You had people come out and you didn't have to bring on extra people to come serve us, and you did anyway. And then all of a sudden we were able to start watch parties there, and you're still doing watch parties to this day. Why are you so nice, first of all? and two, you know, I guess more broadly, same question more broadly. Why are you so community focused? Why does that matter to you so much?
So I don't think I'm nice in the way that I'm just nice to everybody. I'm nice and I'm down to help anybody who is willing to help themselves. When I was younger, I would try to help everybody, and there's just people who don't want to help themselves, and you're killing yourself trying to help these people who don't want to help themselves. Yep. The reason that I loved you guys, or specifically you at the Curse, was you were hungry, you brought an excitement, there was this new club, and you wanted to do things. And anytime you want to do things, like, I'm down to help, especially because I love soccer.
Yeah.
And I was so happy with the excitement that you guys got around anything in New Mexico. So many people here are so, oh, well, New Mexico's this or New Mexico's that. And it's like, well, there's a lot of things to be excited about. And you guys were making something that got the community together.
New Mexico's whatever
excited.
We want it to be. That's an important thing to point out. And I think people can get lost and they can forget that at times. New Mexico is what we want it to be. So if we want New Mexico to be great, it can be great. If we want New Mexico to have fantastic things and great art and sport and all of these different things, they can have it if we decide. It's up to each of us.
And that's one of the most beautiful things Peter said from the beginning, right? Like, is this the economy of dreams, this economy of hope? Like, we can build this economy of dreaming and hoping and being the best version of ourselves and bringing together people who would never be brought together in any other way.
Yeah.
As long as we want to do it. It's not going to happen by itself. It's going to take work. And so that's what I want to kind of focus in on with you on this next question is, what does that path of work look like? It's not been linear, right? It's not like Frank goes to St. Pius High School and then he graduates and he walks across the stage and all of a sudden someone hands him an ownership deed to Hall of Spirits.
That'd be pretty dope. I mean,
God, I wish
that would be a pretty. That would. I watched Willy Wonka with my kid this weekend, so I have.
Wait,
I have
which one? The Robert Downey Jr.
No, the original
Gene Hackman,
the Johnny Depp one. But
Johnny
you got to
Depp,
go back to Gene Wilder.
Sorry, Gene.
You guys are out of control.
I would love to see a Gene Hackman Willy Wonka.
Most interesting beer in the world. Maybe that's why we're getting the bad reference.
I would love to see a Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman is Willy Wonka.
Unbelievable.
Charlie, did you take the bubbles?
I will say that original one, the Gene Wilder version,
beautiful.
Beautiful. Also very dark.
Very dark.
Like kids getting like wheeled off and floating
Sucked up
away.
through tubes.
Yeah.
Have you seen it compared to the new one?
I never saw the new one. Never saw it.
It's scary. Like, as an adult, I get scared.
They remade it twice, right? Because they did Johnny Depp. Did they do another one after that? Or was it just the Johnny Depp?
I don't remember it.
The Johnny Depp.
Okay,
but
we
did another. Oh no, I'm thinking of Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp.
Yep.
But
yeah.
Tim Burton.
Dark
Johnny
stuff,
Depp,
man.
Dark stuff.
Oh, was the remake a Tim Burton film?
I believe the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a Tim Burton.
It's scary. It's
anything with Johnny Depp you can assume.
But the original one, back to Dave's original point, the original one is pretty terrifying.
It's dark.
In its own right. Like, something horrible happens to a child, and then the very enigmatic Oompa Loompas come out and they sing a song about it. And I just had the thought yesterday as we were watching it, if something bad and tragic happened in my life, if there was a chorus group who came out and had a pre-prepared song, I would be very concerned.
Also,
you would be concerned, but it'd make everybody else feel better about the situation.
Right,
about you being hauled off to be killed or stuffed or whatever.
Also, what are the standards as far as workers' rights for the Oompa Loompas? I have concerns about that, right? Do they have a 401k? Is OSHA involved? I mean, these are important questions that need answers.
Also,
they look so happy.
They do look happy.
So happy.
That's true.
But I want to know is, like, is it makeup that they're wearing, or is that how they actually look?
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's also homogenous. I mean, is this like an undiscovered tribe that Willy Wonka just stole away?
I don't know.
That seems very problematic.
They were an undiscovered tribe.
That's problematic.
Again, this is all fresh on my mind. Yeah. And so I'm not trying to flex on all of this, but they were in a very.
This man knows his Willy Wonka.
They were in a very perilous situation, and I can't remember the name of the animal that would just eat them by the 3s and 4s.
So Willy saved them.
Oh, you're talking about the book.
Well, I'm talking about the original.
Was that in the original
references
movie?
To the book?
Is it in the movie?
I don't remember that at all.
I watched it yesterday, guys. I have a terrible memory.
So important thing to point out: Chanel Weesey Carl, my wife, Her favorite slot machine is Willy Wonka.
Of course.
She loves the Willy Wonka slot machine. Every time we go to a casino, which isn't too often, but every time we go, she plays the Willy Wonka.
So she hates children.
It would appear. Yeah, I mean, that's
it
the only
seems like
explanation.
she's promoting
The
that.
executive director of the Somos Unidos Foundation. Also, she changed her profile picture today, and it doesn't include me in it. Should I be upset?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
She's a good-looking
makes
woman,
her-
and you
Oh,
bring
yeah,
her
of course.
down a little bit. That's just
that's
and
true.
then she has to be out in front
Well,
of
and
folks.
she,
fair.
she
Yeah,
makes
that is
her love for you known every single day.
Yeah.
So if you need the profile picture,
I'm
to-
not upset.
to
I'm not
understand
upset.
it. Yeah. Well,
That's just
that's
marketing.
We are darn close to the end of segment one. thanks to Willy Wonka talk.
This is great.
Do we want to come back and try and actually learn a little something about
Yes.
Frank?
I
I'm sorry,
suppose.
messing around a bit.
I guess we'll do that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with segment 2 on United Sessions. Stick around.
Season 3, episode 13 of United Sessions. Despite what
Not
the title,
12.
Despite what the title says, there is a phantom episode, and Frank Holloway is such a cool dude. If he says I want to be episode 13, he gets to be episode 13.
Good thing you didn't say like episode like 43 or something like that.
Just 13. It was so close to 13.
One off. You might as well just make the jump. Yeah.
All right. The question that I tried to ask before we got into Willy Wonka.
And if you have questions for Frank, put them in the chat.
Absolutely. And we'll end up talking about Willy Wonka somehow.
Yeah,
we'll bring
absolutely.
it back to. But this journey, right? It didn't start with you just walking into Hollow Spirits. There was work that had to be done. And quite frankly, work that was really, really crucial to the Albuquerque soccer scene we developed. You know, I'm a part of the Liverpool supporters group. Thanks, pal. That originally met at Red Door.
Oh, wow. You're talking back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Back in the
Good
days.
God.
And so you started there.
Did I meet you back then?
No,
Was
I wasn't a part of that. I don't even think
Okay,
I cared about
okay.
soccer at that point.
Okay.
But I used to go to Red Door back in the day. When I worked
Oh.
downtown, I would go there.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just talk about like how do you end up there? I know it's a conglomeration of friends who come together on that ownership.
Oh.
I know that we make a move from there. So just walk us through that story.
Well, so to take you back a little bit, it all really started when I was in college. I started at UNM, and then I ended up going down to New Mexico State. And classic fashion, I partied a little bit too much and didn't go to class.
They're
As
well
it-
known for their party.
Yeah.
As is tradition, they wobble in. They
As is
wobble in their
tradition.
wobble in their shoes.
Yeah, well, and apparently teachers want you to go to class and like take tests to pass you, which I
Narcs.
don't understand that. But I got my first job at a place called the Double Eagle, where I was a bar back or a busser, then became a server, and so kind of got into the lifestyle, the liquor life, and I just fell in love with it. Like, you know, when you go out, like 90% of the time, it's a fantastic interaction where people are having fun, people are smiling, like
Sure,
it's,
yeah.
it's great time. So I did that. Ended up working at National Distribution after a while, which was a great that's where you sell alcohol to all the stores.
You got to go Aggies in the chat here from Jonathan Holguin.
Jonathan, get out of here.
What's wrong? No, come on. He can say go Aggies. Jonathan, you are welcome to say go Aggies.
That's fine. I have no Aggie or Lobo thing.
All the basketball players stole stuff from me at parties I threw.
I'm a Greyhound.
Yeah, that's why he said that.
But then came back to Albuquerque, worked at Sandia, worked with National Distribution, and then I was like, I want to own my own thing, and I loved the brewing industry. So a couple friends, I did CrossFit at a place called Sandia CrossFit back in the day, and we wanted to open a brewery, and so we ended up opening a brewery. And one thing that I wanted to do was Saturday mornings for nurses. I wanted people who worked the graveyard and got off at 7 a.m. I was like, when I get off of work, I want to go have a beer.
Third shift.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So
that's
it doesn't necessarily matter if it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Like for them, it's not 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's 9 o'clock.
But there were laws that would keep you from doing that. Would that be allowed to happen? How does that work?
Back then, no. I think now they changed it.
I think it's like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that.
It depends on your liquor license.
Got it.
But so I did open up early for nurses, and then I wanted to bring the soccer community because most of English Premier shows at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, let's do this. And fortunately, we opened up and we got a pretty decent following of people coming in to watch live soccer.
For those Scousers.
Mm-hmm. And so then did that for a little bit, got bought out. And then the next step was somebody kept on telling me about distilleries. Actually, one of my soccer friends who I grew up with kept on saying, you need to open a place.
Yeah.
Let's do a distillery. Let's do a distillery. And then eventually I was like, okay, I started researching it, looking into it. And it was like, let's get crazy. Let's do this.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, Frank, but you actually, when we toured the facility for the first time, when we started the conversations between the club and Hall of Spirits, you had what I thought was a really prescient point, which was distilleries right now are where breweries were 10 years ago. And New Mexico is always five years behind that curve.
So, and unfortunately, but good for us, that's really, really true. But if you look at the growth of distilleries in the United States, it's the same graph as breweries were.
Just a little later.
Yep. Yeah. And a little bit later. And then any place that has a great beer culture has a great distillery culture. And the beer culture, I'm sorry, I think you could put New Mexico's craft beer against anybody.
I agree.
You're going to hear zero arguments from us.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember going to Portland expecting, because Portland's, one of the meccas.
Right.
And I went there and I expected to get my mind blown. I was like, we have breweries that can hang. There was no brewery that I thought we couldn't hang with.
Agreed. 100%. Could not disagree. Could not agree more. When I bring in friends, because I grew up back east, when I bring in friends from out of town, they're always so impressed with our brewery scene, and I'm bringing them from places like Philadelphia, which is, again, another beer mecca in the United States. And they're coming in like, oh my God, this is great. We go to Bosque, we go to Ex Novo, or we go to, pick your place. And they're always like so impressed. The beer here is terrific. And the breweries are terrific. 100%.
Well, and I think what we add on to it, and Frank, I want to get your thoughts on it because you get to observe it, from the ground up much more than I do. I think what adds to the New Mexico scene, whether it's breweries, whether it's distilleries, is the approach that we all take to drinking. Like, yes, we love the effects of alcohol. It's great.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, what alcohol or breweries or distilleries provide for the state of New Mexico is a forum and a place to come together.
A gathering place.
They provide fellowship.
Yep.
That you come together and you have a couple drinks and you enjoy the heck out of those drinks. It's not like a party where you're just putting down as much alcohol as you can to get rid of the pain of midterms.
Well, think about it though, right? If the three of us wanted to go meet up somewhere in New Mexico,
Hall of Spirits.
Well,
Frank would pay for everything.
but if we were going to go, not to Frank's work, but if we were going to go say, hey, you guys want to meet up after work? Where are we going to go? We're going to go to a brewery.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what, and I said, I've lived in a lot of different places. I've never lived in a place where that's just the default until I moved to New Mexico. And it is. Hey, you guys want to meet up? Yeah, let's go to the brewery. Let's go to Ex Novo. Let's go to, Marble. Let's go to wherever it is. That's just the default. And I love that.
Yep.
It's a gathering place. It's a social gathering place. I think that's great.
So
I grew up in the bars here in Albuquerque, and I love a lot of bars, but tends to get a little bit violent or some stuff from time to time.
It can get uncomfortable at times.
But sure. That was one reason that I love the craft industry when it came in the breweries. I remember that it was one of the first experiences I ever had at a brewery. I was at Marble. It was probably they're about to have their 15-year anniversary. It was probably year 1.
And so this would be Marble Downtown.
Yeah, this is Marble Downtown.
The only location they had at the time.
Yeah. And I remember I was walking inside and I accidentally bumped into somebody and, hit a good shoulder. And there's a lot of bars in New Mexico where it's like, that's it for you. Okay, what's going to go on? I got to puff up. What's going to happen?
Right.
And I remember I bumped into this person and the guy looked at me and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it was the weirdest experience. I was like, "Oh, sorry, what?" Oh yeah, me too.
I am sorry as well.
And that
now let's go about our days.
Yeah, that interaction was one of the reasons that I wanted to start a brewery, wanted to start a distillery.
It's such a simple interaction.
And it's people don't get trash there. It's like, I'm gonna have a couple beers, I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm gonna go home, relax, wake up tomorrow without a hangover, and go about my day.
Yeah.
And so that's also another thing that I love about the craft industry is that it's more for the taste of the alcohol rather than just to get drunk.
Yeah. It's the experience of the whole thing. And again, just huge shout out to you, my beautiful daughter who works for the club. When we were planning her 21st birthday party, it was like,
thank you for that.
An absolute, like,
that was fun.
I would definitely want to go here. I know what they're doing right. So let's just rewind.
I had the salt and vinegar fries that night.
Oh my god! I'm sorry.
we should get a clicker going on how many times DWC brings up the salt and vinegar fries.
They were delicious.
They are delicious. They're not dead. You'll bring them back. They're just resting.
The tots are wonderful. Try the tots.
I actually have to give a shout out to Chef Tristan Rogers.
He was our best.
He was our executive chef at the time too. He moved on to the Sheridan now, so he has a team of like 30 people.
He was there on Friday night as well.
Events. Yes.
Yeah, he stopped by.
Yeah, he still supports us. He's an investor in Holloway Spirits and everything, but he was the one who made that whole menu.
Yeah, he's
and
awesome.
One thing I do recommend to people is follow chefs and brewers and distillers.
Oh yeah.
It's
free pro tip.
Yeah, like follow the people because people are amazing no matter what situation they are.
So to that point, take it a step further. If you have not checked out 505 Food Fights, oh my God, it is so much fun. I've probably gone to 3, 4, maybe 5 of them over the last couple of years, and it's what it sounds like. So you get a couple chefs from across New Mexico, across Albuquerque.
The best chefs in New Mexico.
Yeah, they're
amazing.
You've seen them on Food Network.
Yeah. Seriously.
A lot of them have actually won a lot of Marie
won Chopped
from Bocadillos. So that kind of, you get those amazing chefs and you get them in a room, and kind of like Iron Chef, you have an ingredient that they got to use, and then they compete, and then everybody there, you buy a ticket and everybody gets to try it, and you vote on the winner, and it's so much fun. It's such a different thing than you'll ever experience.
To me, it's
so cool.
It's so ludicrously New Mexican that it is competitive. We love to be competitive as New Mexicans. We want to go toe to toe with someone else.
Yeah.
But at the end of the competition, another thing New Mexicans are great for is like, I'll give you your props. Well, I'll give you your due. You beat me.
The thing that I really like about it is a couple of the times I've gone, depending on where it is, like they're cooking out in the open.
Yep.
So I've walked into the kitchen while the chef is cooking, and like that just it's a weird voyeurism. That is, it's so much fun because you wonder how your food is made, right? I have this incredible meal and I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about other than what it says on the menu and what I'm tasting, which is great. I don't know anything about how this is made, and I get to go into the kitchen. I remember this one time. This was maybe right before the pandemic, and they were making some sort of seafood, and they were like frying up some, I think it was octopus. And they're frying this up.
Yuck.
I love it. I know that's not your thing, but it was so good. And they're frying it up, and they played it all and all this kind of stuff. And then there were leftovers. And the chef's walking out. He's like, "Oh yeah, you guys can have the leftovers."
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! We just went in, and there were 4 or 5 of us in there just eating this stuff.
Like I showed up at the right place.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing because you could walk back there, you can see all these amazing chefs in the community. The problem that I have is that I started as a busser and server. So anytime you walked into a kitchen, the head chef yelled at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even at Holloway Spirits, I'm like, I own this kitchen, and I walk back into the kitchen with my tail between my legs, and I'm just like, yes, chef, no, chef. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm in your way. So even it's great because you can go back there, you can see everything they're doing.
Yeah.
And for most people, hopefully, you're way more comfortable doing it because they love it and it's actually encouraged.
Yeah.
for me, I feel so uncomfortable, like I'm in their way and they're gonna yell at me.
And you mentioned in the way thing, right? Again, they welcome you in for this thing, but at the same time, you're back there. They will, if you're in the way, they move, and like that's fine. I'm in your space. Yes, absolutely. Yes, chef.
Well, and they only have an hour to compete.
Yes.
So, and they the food fights not self promotion, but promotion for that. It's every 2 weeks. They're rotating between Hollow Spirits, Fuego
505, yeah.
Fuego 505, and then High Point Grill, which it's Mike also White is the one who's actually putting on everything, and he's
the quarterback for the New York Jets.
No, he's amazing. He does all kinds of stuff. He
throws bombs.
No, he's a chef on the West Side High Point Grill, but he's the one who's doing the 505 food fights now. And he told me the other day they've raised like over $100,000. I think it's closer to $200,000 that he's done.
That's the other thing we didn't mention. Every 505 food fight, the ticket sales go to a local nonprofit. It has been the Somos Unidos Foundation, and it has been the Curse in the past.
Yep.
So big shout out on that as well. I've also been to High Point Grill because that's pretty close to where I live, and the food over there is also incredible. We got a couple things on the chat here. Frank Holloway is an amazing distiller and a gracious host from Robert Romero. He also says we had a wonderful whiskey tasting class by Frank at halftime of the last United away match.
Yes.
That's
apparently you took the sting out of the Monterey match for us.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that was hard.
Sorry, go ahead, Frank.
No, I was going to say one thing that I was looking for Hollow Spirits, because I love soccer, but then for the halftime, it's always kind of weird. Like just there's like a 15-20 minute, and then if you're on ESPN Plus, sometimes they don't even play sound. It just kind of goes silent. So I was like, what can I do that nobody else could do? So we had a bourbon that was finished in a rum barrel.
Nice.
That we had just bottled that day, and I was like,
sounds like a Frankenstein.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I was like, hey, let's just take this out and give a little quick sample. It was trying to sell a couple bottles, but also something different. So I think I'm going to start throwing a little bit of that into everything to educate people on liquor.
And people can go watch any away match at Hollow Spirits as well. I think it's important to point out you got all the watch parties for all the away matches.
Yeah, we'll watch every single thing. We do have a kids corner where it's Rashawn. You guys know Rashawn. He's done a lot of work.
Rashawn's
Are the kids blowing glass?
Not yet.
Okay.
That feels dangerous.
We haven't done that, but he sets up a little corner with arts and crafts because he's huge in the art community, and it's amazing because
Rashawn is an amazing human being.
Well, we're starting to lose a lot of that in schools, and Rashawn's taking a front row. We need the arts and crafts in places. So we have him hosting the little kids corner.
Yep.
Where, let's see, we did for St. Patrick's Day, they made these little St. Patty's hats.
They're so cute.
Beards. And then for Easter, we did a Easter egg coloring. And
then you watched The Lion King at some point. And
yeah,
I'm ashamed to say that if, as an employee of New Mexico United, if
the Lion King's on, you gotta watch The Lion King.
Game,
well, that was the late game. So it started at 8. I'm like, kids don't want to do stuff at 8, so let's put on The Lion King. And it was amazing. So
we've got a lot in the chat here for you. I'm going to hit on a few of them. Chanel mentioned, and it's actually will help us maybe dive into another topic. I had a fantastic mocktail at Hollow. It was gorgeous.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about it seems like the mocktail scene is growing as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. Own a distillery. I don't care what anybody says. Alcohol is a little bit of a drug.
Yeah,
it's a drug, and it needs to be taken little by little. Like if you are drinking to hide your feelings, to overcome stuff, like that is not the time to have alcohol.
Absolutely.
Right? So one thing that we like to promote at Hollow Spirits, for one, is you don't have to drink, but sometimes you go out, and if you're having a Sprite or something, everybody's coming up to you like, well, why aren't you drinking?
Sure.
Why aren't you drinking? Here's a beer, or take this or take this.
Right. Well, and mocktails are fun. They're fun. It's a way to try something new. Let's say I wanted to try a new flavor, but I wasn't sure. Like, again, I didn't want to have alcohol for whatever reason. Then that's my business. Or it's something where like maybe I want to just try something that doesn't have alcohol because it changes the flavor palette as well.
And they're delicious. So pretty much I think like 90% of the drinks at Hollow Spirits you could get without alcohol.
Yeah.
And they also have a Donna pour, which is it's the name of my mom, where you could get a half pour also.
Love that.
So for any drink, you could get a half pour on any of the alcohol. We're not trying to promote get drunk. We just want, I'm at the stage of my life where I just want people to come together and have fun and
Hell yeah.
talk about sports and not worry about all the drama that's going on around us at all times.
Amen to that.
Going back to our earlier point, it's about fellowship, right? It doesn't matter what's in that cup. It matters who's around that cup.
Amen.
Right?
Agreed.
Like we get together, we can toast each other, we can love each other.
Yes. DJ Ortiz made a good point. I believe the craft beer scene contributed to the growth of the food truck scene in New Mexico as well. That's a great point. That's probably the case, because not every place can have a kitchen like you guys can.
Should DJ O just become the new co-host?
He's great.
I think he should just come
every
on
single
with you. He's
episode.
so much better than me.
We can have a third spot.
Yeah.
Every single episode, DJ O is on here with absolute fire. But I think he's right.
Yeah, no. So the craft beer scene started so much. It helped do beer for one. It helped do food trucks. Local artists and musicians are starting to blow up, where you could actually make a living being an artist. Where 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like there was 5 local bands that really did it, and then nobody else had a place to go.
The musician who did the music at our wedding, we discovered at a local brewery.
Who was it?
He was so good.
Chanel.
How about
his name? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, we should give him a shout out because he was fantastic.
He was unreal. The song he played for Chanel's "Walk Down the Aisle" was like, my God,
It made me cry.
it's gonna get him right here on the air. But like, you remember those moments? It's a goosebump.
Justin
moment.
Nunez, there it is.
Okay.
Thank you. Shout out Justin Nunez, was terrific. It made me cry, and I'm not gonna cry right
but
now.
To your point, we've red light cameras have
Yeah.
come into the scene with United and taken the place by storm. We did that watch party on Civic Plaza. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I'm getting very mushy in my brain. When
Million
it comes to
years
this
ago.
stuff. Yeah. But every time they've come out, it's amazing. DJ Wyatt Lawson.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
I got to say one more thing about the red light cameras. So you went to the ribbon cutting.
Yep.
We're going to have the grand opening for 1324
Yeah, the kitchen.
this Saturday from 7 to 9. I know
Red light camera's gonna be there.
red light cameras are playing. So it's going to be interesting. We're playing the Distillers Cup during the day.
You're gonna
Then we're
be
having the grand
exhausted.
opening. Then there's a United game,
Frank
and
is
we
gonna
have the
be
red lights. So
wrecked.
it's
You're gonna have a 1,000-yard stare. by the
Oh
end.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh well, I know my adrenaline will keep me through the day.
But the end of it, you'll sleep well.
There's going to be a
Let's
time,
go ahead
but-
and get the Frank wheelchair ready for after that.
A couple other things in the chat. We've got a lot in the chat right now.
Oh,
People are
gosh.
popping off.
Frank, they love you.
Brandon Ortega says, I love the upstairs patio at Hollow Spirits. I've been to Hollow Spirits, I don't know how many times, dozens and dozens. I've never been on the upstairs patio. I still have not been.
What we're gonna put, actually, that's my Wednesday morning. We're gonna put up the tables and chairs and all
Because
the.
I've been downstairs on the patio.
Yeah. So we just finished it. Well, it's been like 8 months now, but it's gorgeous up there. It's a great view of the city and everything. So we're putting up a bar and hopefully have great times.
So
up
there will be a bar upstairs.
Mhm.
That's a huge thing
Yes.
because then you don't have to go up and down to get your
Yep.
drinks. That's
Look at that. Look at me, Louis, from Brandon Ortega.
I
I've
love
already
that.
seen the upstairs.
no big deal,
I'm
no
Brandon
big
Well,
Ortega.
he's cool. You guys
He
just
is
are
cool.
cool.
He
Like,
is
I'm
very
sorry
cool.
that-
No, I love
don't-
Brandon.
Don't make fun of the cool kids just because you guys are losers.
Look,
I'm sorry.
it's-
Frank.
Just saying, you guys are cool in your own way.
He's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but it's hurtful.
I'm just bitter. Okay. Roxanne Weesey, my mother-in-law, says I want to go to the food fights, and she tagged Chanel. Yes, we
Yes.
should definitely go to the food
All the
fights.
food
100%. Chanel had a really great question earlier. Here it is. What are Frank's North Stars or principles when it comes to running a business, entrepreneurship, hospitality, or whatever that means to him?
Thank you. Just
Wow.
took Chanel to ask my question.
That is. It has changed recently.
Recently.
It has changed really a lot recently, and I hate to blame COVID, but a lot of it I blame on COVID. And before it was. You get into a business, and it's like, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to have a Lamborghini, and that's
Sure.
my whole goal in the business.
You're your
And-
own boss. You control where the money goes.
Yes, and a lot of it was geared towards that. And maybe now, and I've had this conversation with you. Now I want a place that I can hang out with or hang out at and have fun and not worry. There's just so much negativity, I feel like, in the world, and
Amen.
just different things going on and people complaining about everything. And I'm like, can we just come here and have a beer and watch a soccer game and say, is that onsides or is
Yeah.
that offsides?
Yeah.
That was a felt. No, that's a red card. And that literally is what I want my business to be now.
Love that.
If we make $1 million, cool, but I want to hang out there with friends and just relax. That's my goal now.
Love that. Finding a place, making a place where people can come together and just be.
Yeah, just have fun.
And again, I know you hate this. I'm sure you hate this as well. Like just, poking into people's humility and making them address it head on. But like, that's what you did with the curse head on, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what you said. You said the only thing that is not going to be tolerated here is intolerance. And then you find people that are like, we're going to do that as well. And we're going to do crazy stuff. Like we're going to have drag brunches and drag bingo shows. And we're going to have food fights. And we're going to make sure that people know that they can come together. And as long as they're not going to be hateful, as long as you're doing no harm, you're no harm to me.
Well, I will have a fundraiser for Republicans and Democrats. Like that's the kind of person that I am. And I will have it at the same time and just like, hey guys, you guys are both just people. Just have fun. Like it doesn't need to be that big of a deal every single time.
Yeah. You looking for a Premier League club to open up in the early mornings for? There are clubs.
We got Liverpool over here.
We're good. We've got our spot, but I'm sure there are other clubs. I'm thinking of Charles Rumbaugh, one of our coworkers and good friends.
Newcastle.
He's a big Newcastle fan.
I'm
think
splitting
they have
off
a bar.
with the Liverpool Reds to start a Wolves group.
There you go. So I'm just saying, if you are looking, I'm sure there are people around who are looking for a spot.
If people contact me and they could bring a group at 7 a.m, I would be more than down.
I love that.
More than down.
Love that. We're building community one bit at a time. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be back with always.
It's time.
As always,
it's time.
Stupid, silly game. We will be back in just a few moments with segment 3 of United Sessions. Stick around. Welcome back into United Sessions Season 3, Episode 13, not 12, Segment 3. Lucas, it is time once again for a stupid, silly game. Take us through it.
Well, first of all, I'm just so heartbroken that no one has sponsored this yet.
Oh my gosh,
Stupid, silly games time.
I'm trying to sponsor United right now.
Brought to you by Hollow
sponsorship at a time. One thing
that
at
can
a time.
be part of the United
Yeah.
sponsorship. Stupid, silly game time brought to you by Hollow Spirits.
So for the audio audience later, I just gave a very, very great acting look at Frank.
Yeah, it was very subtle.
Hey, I can appreciate that. I've been plugging in here and there, so I appreciate it.
Get him in. So fans of the show, the 3 of you, and then listeners of the show, the other 10 of you.
My mom.
Yeah, my mom, David's mom. And
Hi, Mom.
My mom's not a fan. She's just a listener.
She's
She doesn't
just
really
a
like us
listener.
very much.
But if you've experienced the show at all, you know about stupid, silly games, and you know that I put way too much effort into making it a play on words and not necessarily making it a fun game.
Yeah, if you spend half as much time on making the game good as you did making the title good, maybe we'd actually have some fun.
I'm nervous about this. Okay.
Tonight's game is called To Be Frank, fill in the blank.
I like it.
It's a simple.
Can I be frank with you?
It's a simple solution.
You can be frank with everyone, Frank. Stop
need
calling me Shirley.
We need you to be brutally honest about the following topics. We'll give you a prompt, and at the end, we'll put a blank on it, and we'll ask you to fill in the blank. For example, DWC. To be frank, the easiest team to hate in the English Premier League is blank.
Tottenham Hotspur. They can. Yep, I can't say
But what about West Ham because of Ted Lasso? What happened yesterday?
Yeah,
you don't have a lot of hate.
The reason I would dislike West Ham would be more Ted Lasso based than actual Premier League based, and that's not fair to them.
Andy Hageman, big Hammers fan.
Yeah, he texted me before the match yesterday, which was early in the morning. He's like, "I'm really worried about this match," and I didn't reply, and I think I was punished for that. So
for me, it's Crystal Palace.
Really?
All right.
Your least favorite team is Crystal Palace?
Well, because they make a horrible vodka and they will sell more than I can ever imagine.
Because of the branding.
If I sold 1% of what they sold, I would be able to retire.
Yeah.
And it's awful. It is.
Have you had it?
Oh yeah. That was college. you could buy a handle of Crystal Palace, I think, for $8.99.
Wait a minute. I just now put together that Crystal Palace vodka and Crystal Palace FC are the same.
I actually don't know if they're the same, but it's the same name. Either way.
Okay. I'm going to choose to believe it's the same, and I'm going to go with you.
I feel like that.
Behind the locker room, they're distilling very, very poor vodka.
Yeah, that's right. It's crap. And so as a club, I hate them.
I also want to point out here in the description of the game you started with, it's a simple formula, doctor.
It's a simple formula,
which doctor. Is a very good reference to Harry Carey on SNL. Would you eat the moon if it was made of ribs? Okay, let's get to the game here. So you got the premise.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Lucas, you want to go first?
Yes. To be frank, the strongest version of peanut butter is blank.
Strongest being best.
The strongest.
The best version of
Reese's peanut butter.
Oh, it's such a good answer.
You're talking about because they make it in a jar now. It's not just in the peanut butter.
I'm talking
cups.
about the actual.
I mean, those are delicious.
Yeah, I'm talking about that.
Best.
But I'm just saying they also make it in a jar. Like you can buy a jar of Reese's peanut butter. I've not had that.
Okay,
I've never had Reese's peanut butter cups. Those are great.
No, so you had originally shared some ideas with me, and you said, should we do crunchy or smooth? But I was like, going back to the corn question,
step further
with Coach Heather. Like, let's see, can we even expand it further? No. How is peanut butter at its best form? And I don't think.
Yeah, I think you add a little bit of chocolate to it.
Yeah.
If you want to get really crazy, if you're going between the nut or no nuts, I think you need nuts, but nuts and chocolate.
Yeah. I think I agree with you.
Are you proposing a crunchy peanut butter Reese's peanut butter cup?
I think we need to talk to people. You
they already
put connections, right?
They already put like potato chips in those things.
And
why not just a crunchy
Reese's
peanut butter
pieces in there?
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. I'm between the two main.
I see a special coming.
Ooh, that would be some sort of distilled something.
Invoices on its way, pal.
Between the two main ones, though, I'm a crunchy peanut butter guy.
I think that's.
I think crunchy.
Crunchy.
Both
crunchy.
I think crunchy.
Yeah, we're correct and you're wrong.
Well, okay, actually, that's fine. Majority rules. This is America.
Let me say this: if it was in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I like smooth just because it goes on smoother.
I disagree.
If I was gonna just get a spoonful of something,
yeah,
I would say crunchy.
I cannot think of a situation where I would prefer creamy over crunchy. No. I prefer crunchy in pretty much every situation.
Well, it's okay. You've been wrong before.
No, it's the first time.
Well, you're a gritty dude.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
It makes sense.
All right, number 2. To be frank, the top album or song of all time is blank.
Michael Jackson, Bad.
Oh, that was fast. Wow. Right off the draw. I love that.
Beginning to end. Or my next one would be Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
Yes.
Wow.
Now you're speaking my language. 100%.
This sounds like a playlist in the making for New Mexico United watch parties.
But Michael Jackson, that will make me in a better mood.
Yeah.
The Chronic, I have to be in a mood, but I still beginning to end.
Sure.
We're switching to different songs, but I'm going to put it on and I'm going to play it to the end. Both of those are
the amount of lines he has in that. Again, when you need a song, if someone has been mean to you on a given day, or you feel like you've been taken down a certain notch, listening to the Chronic is a great way to pull yourself back up.
You want to hear my crazy Michael Jackson story?
Yeah.
So the day Michael Jackson died, we found out I was with my stepdad and my mom. We were in Washington, D.C. at the Hard Rock Cafe when we found out, sitting across the table from his red Thriller jacket.
Really?
when we found out he died.
No,
Isn't that crazy?
That's really crazy.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
The universe is wild,
Yeah.
man.
It was weird. It was super, super weird. All right. Number 3, Lucas.
Favorite artist is Prince.
Oh, yeah. I love
Oh, is Danette Medina on?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Danette is going to lose her mind.
Yeah. And Danette is on here often. I don't know if she's on today, but she loves Prince. That's her favorite.
You just got yourself a new customer.
You
Danette's
put on
here.
Kiss, and I'm going to dance. I don't care where I'm at.
Yeah. I mean, Prince is the ultimate sex symbol in the history of music, in my opinion.
And he was like 5'3".
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
is impressive. That's how badass he was.
You can say ass.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm like,
All right, Lucas, number 3.
To be frank, hold on. I got to unpack this one a little bit. I tried to creep on you so hard to come up with good questions.
Wait. Pause. You and I need to give our answers on number 2. I apologize. Top album or song of all time, Lucas?
Ooh. Goodness gracious. Nirvana, Nevermind.
okay.
You're going with the album, not the song.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're going to go album.
I respect that.
If we're going to go with album, I think for me, it is the White Album by the Beatles.
Oh, it's so good.
That also. I thought he was going to say the Beatles.
I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
I love the Beatles. Not my favorite artist of all time, my favorite band of all time, but I love that album.
So unpacking question 3, I tried to creep on you. I told this off air before we came in here. I can't find anything about you. What I could find is that you are a devoted and wonderful father. And your girls are beautiful, man.
Thank you.
It's really, really special. But knowing that they're a part of your life, I know you've seen your fair share of Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is not going to be the standard. I'm not asking you what the best one was. To be frank, what's the most overrated Disney movie is blank.
I need to think about my
overrated. And
Wow.
I have my answer right out of the gate. I wrote the question, so it's not fair, but people just love it.
Oh,
You're
this
like,
one, you blew my mind. Like all the other ones I've been quick, though.
Overrated.
Most overrated.
also, I want to cause controversy. So if you say something that offends someone else, that is the goal of this question. Is that you make someone mad.
My personal favorite best is Emperor's New Groove.
That's not the question, Frank.
I
it's
know,
such a good movie.
but the most
Wrong, Lemma Crunk.
overrated- Frozen was amazing. I love The Lion King.
Frozen might be my answer.
That was going to be my answer. Let's just go ahead and own it
Frozen
up.
was the first one where they didn't need a man to be completely happy.
Amen to that.
That is a great point.
I love that.
So it was the first one where it's like true love is something you experience with family and everything, which
Hell
is
yeah.
what I really loved about that.
Yeah.
I love Disney. I can't think.
I think we got 3 Disney lovers here.
I would say one of the shows with Mickey, I think, are overrated.
Steamboat Willie, so overrated.
the original. No, so here's and I'll give you a bail out here. Here's why I think Frozen was overrated. Not because it's not a great movie, not because it's not full of great
But the
songs.
hype, man.
Yeah, Devin Sandoval can sing Let It Go like no one you could ever imagine.
Why did he not do that when he was on our podcast?
I think it was a little bit more serious because we were announcing
Robert
his
Romero,
retirement.
how dare you? The Goofy movie was awful? No, absolutely not. How do I ban someone from chat?
Robert, you're
Yeah,
out.
seriously, Goofy's amazing.
The Goofy movie was terrific.
The minute producer Lene is not here, Robert starts going wild.
Robert, I love you, but Powerline is an icon. Okay,
Great.
I love that movie. All right,
All right, let's
Red
get out of
Dragon.
here.
you are.
Red. What's the Red Panda?
Oh, Red was the name of the movie.
Red Panda or whatever.
Just call
that
it
one-
Red.
Red.
And
Just
she
Red.
like switches
Yeah,
back.
I've not seen it.
My daughter Penelope is in love with that movie, and it's cool, but
It's just not your jam.
yeah, I think she's all about it. I don't know if it's overrated for everybody else,
But
but
just
for
for you.
her, it's her show, and I'm just like, nah. But yeah,
We
I
could-
gotta think. I'm gonna actually message you guys probably at like 1:00 in the morning. Like,
It's
this
Aladdin.
is what it is.
Aladdin.
No, I got mine.
Don't say that.
No, I love Aladdin.
You do not. I liked you for so long.
Robert says he's soon to be disowned by his 3 daughters and by me. And by me, Robert. I love you, but come on. My most overrated is Beauty and the Beast. It's just Stockholm Syndrome. It's just all that is.
Yes.
It's just a movie
Wow.
about Stockholm Syndrome. It's really problematic. I don't like that movie.
But the songs.
Oh no, the songs are great.
Be our guest.
Yeah,
Be
I
our
love Be Our
guest.
Guest, right? There are good elements to
Yeah.
it, but if you really think about the message of that film, it's just
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome. It's just tricking somebody into loving you, and it's not great.
But if you think most Disney stories are some messed up fairy tale from back in the
Oh, yeah,
day. like,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Chanel,
listen
we
to the
see
rumor.
Carl. She said, sorry, but Lion King is mid. How dare you? That's Hamlet with animals. It's a great film.
She's not talking about the animated one, right?
I think she is. I think she is. Jay Scribe has an opinion. Producer Jay? Thank you. Thank you. Jay Scribe says Lion King is top 5. Wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely.
I love Lion King's in my top 3.
Yeah, it's a great film.
I still can't watch when Mufasa dies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry.
If you've been under a rock for the last 30 years.
Sorry.
Chris?
I don't particularly like any of the ones where there's just like really devastating animal like cruelty.
Of course.
So like people say Dumbo's a classic.
That one's heart-wrenching.
Dumbo is a heartbreaking.
How about Bambi?
Bambi,
yeah.
Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah.
And then
101 Dalmatians.
I'll say Bambi. I think
overrated?
Bambi is overrated. I
agree.
watched it the other day.
That's fair.
And there's not really that much of a plot.
It's not that
or
exciting.
Anything. It's just like, we have Thumper's the only cool guy in that whole thing.
That's right. We got a lot of opinions on this. Roxanne Weesey says Lion King is great, disagreeing with her daughter, and my mother-in-law is correct on this. 101 Dalmatians is traumatizing.
It is.
Chanel says it's just nostalgia. She said the animated Lion King is mid. Broadway/live action is solid. They're both terrific. You're wrong. I'll be in trouble for saying that.
What's the 101? What's the name of the bad guy?
Cruella de Vil.
Did you see that new one that they had?
Oh, it was
Cruella.
Who
that
plays
one,
Cruella?
I think
Emma
that is
Watson.
an
That's it.
amazing
No, not
movie.
Emma Watson.
No.
Emma
Stone.
I need to see
Stone.
that. I have not seen it.
That movie, I think, is fantastic.
All right, we've spent a lot of time on
sorry.
Disney movies. Moving on to number 4. To be frank,
any live action that they recreated, it's crap. Don't watch it.
the Jungle Book one was so bad.
Yeah,
Wow.
And I
all of
love
them.
the Jungle
All of them.
Book. I love the Jungle Book.
Dumb.
Yeah,
dumb.
I agree.
I hope you don't lose any customers.
No, I will appreciate losing those customers. You are wrong, and please don't come to my place.
That's right, Roxanne. James Earl Jones is not mid. Amen to that. James Earl Jones is a treasure. Thank you. To be frank, the best restaurant in Albuquerque other than Hollow Spirits is.
Oh, wow. Best restaurant. It depends on my mood. It depends on my mood. But my mother's place, Chef Marie.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've not been.
Anything that woman does is amazing. And I love it so much. And then I also like Seasons.
Seasons like 52?
No,
or the regular one?
The regular Seasons.
Yeah.
So a lot of what inspired me is they own Seasons. They owned not Anodyne. What is right here on the road? They own a bunch of different restaurants, the Gorge and Taos, a couple different places, and they actually inspired me. A lot of what Hollow Spirits is because of what they did.
Nice,
like a little elevated, a little bit nicer.
Yeah,
but anything Marie does is fantastic. There's a lot of chefs out there. That's a hard question because I follow chefs. And I appreciate what a lot of chefs do, and it really does depend on my mood.
Yeah, well, I did want to give you an on-ramp with that question because just researching your stuff, you were so gracious to share other people's openings, other people's initiatives, everything like that. And I think that's just an amazing thing.
Well, there's a lot of talent in New Mexico. You just need to get out and stop going to Chili's or Applebee's. Like, there's a lot of amazing New Mexico chefs out there.
Think if either of them are corporate
so crazy. Oh, my bad.
No,
you're fine. You're safe.
But I agree with you. I mean, there's so much talent. We talk about talent in an artistic space in New Mexico. Cooking, culinary art is art, you know, and so we have so many talented culinary artists in this place.
That's right.
To answer the question for myself, it's hard to pick a favorite spot, but like one of our go-to spots for dinners, again, we live on the west side, for date night is Jinja. Love Jinja.
Jinja's fantastic.
But I'm actually craving sushi tonight, so I'm going to say Sakura on the west side. That's my
just
spot.
trying to manifest it.
I love Sakura. That sushi is so good.
I'm not going to give you a direct answer because, again, to what Frank was saying, there's so many people who cultivate this idea of fellowship and this idea of being outside in warm weather, being around any place that cultivates fellowship. I quite honestly don't care like the food that you serve. Me and you have talked about this a lot. I'm not a foodie. I'm the least sophisticated palate. I'm the least sophisticated palate we have in the company. And so I'll take what I can get. But if it's a great environment and it all comes together, I know I said except Hollow Spirits, but Hollow Spirits is my favorite. So
and another one that I do have to respect what they're doing is Matucci's is doing amazing.
And it's so different at each location too. I love that. That's so much fun. The new one up here in Knott Hill's great. All right.
To be frank,
yes.
The surefire spirit for mixed drinks is blank.
It depends on what you want.
Nope.
Spoken like a distiller. Right?
Nope.
So if you want something that mixes,
I said surefire, Frank.
If you want something that mixes with everything, vodka.
Sure.
Vodka is your mixer. Put it in whatever, and it's tasteless and senseless. So you could mix
like
it in
me.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well done.
I do think rum is underrated.
I agree with that.
Rum should go into a lot more cocktails, but for some reason, rum, nobody thinks about it.
Another thing I like about Ginger, they do a lot of tropical rum drinks.
Yes.
Very good.
But
Love a tropical rum drink.
But for me, if you get a good whiskey and it's more whiskey forward and you're not like just trying to get rid of the flavor, but you let the flavor come out, then it's whiskey for me.
That smoked whiskey drink you guys do, the smoked old fashioned.
I need your guys' help. I can't. I've never been able to get into whiskey. I have a dog named Whiskey, and like I just don't like it. I want to like it. I want to.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay, pal.
I know I don't have to, but I do want to. It's a genuine interest.
Another thing that I want to tell everybody: drink what you like.
Yeah.
Like if you like light beer, drink light beer. If you like vodka, drink vodka. If you like whiskey, if you want to really try to get into whiskeys, I do actually recommend getting into barrel-aged rums.
Okay,
and the reason
that's an on-ramp for me.
Yeah, the reason for barrel-aged rums is because it's a little bit sweeter. It still has the barrel, so you still get a little bit of that oak and that vanilla and stuff, so it kind of leads you, but it's sweeter and not quite as harsh.
Well, I don't want to confuse you on this. This isn't something where I'm like, oh, I want to be a man and I want to like whiskey. I have no problem. I'm very open.
Yeah.
I'm very open about, again, I like frilly drinks, I like sweet drinks, I like fruity drinks, I love all these things. So it's not an ego thing or anything like that. It's just like so many people like it and have recommended it and told me like, yeah, you'd really like it, that I really want to give it an honest try. I'm
actually surprised that whiskey is more popular than barrel-aged rum, because barrel-aged rum to the palate is it's more accessible. Like it is sweeter. It's whiskey. It takes some stuff to get into.
Yeah.
Like I like scotches from Islay, and it's like I tell people you should never like this stuff. Like if you like this stuff, you clearly drink too much.
You're messed up.
So but and then the other whiskey that I would say you should get into that's a little bit more accessible, try Irish whiskeys.
Okay. Like Irish, a Jameson?
Like
I
would say Tullamore Dew,
Tingley Beach.
It gets out of the water there. The ducks and everything. It has a great taste. Yeah. But I would say try Tullamore Dew. Jameson's good, but I feel like it has a little bit of a chemical tast.
Okay.
But it's described as delicate. So it's like
I'm also described as
softer whiskey.
Yeah. We had Chris Mancuso in the chat said Lavender Moon is my absolute fave. Love the lavender vodka. Yeah. And then later on said lavender vodka, Hollow Spirits all the way. You got a lover there.
Dangerous. That stuff's dangerous.
Chanel also really likes that too.
But that's brand fidelity right there, my friend.
And gin is my go-to for liquor. DJ Ortiz says never ever drink Malort. Like never. I agree with that. I've had Malort. DJ Ortiz. I've also had Malort. It's horrendous.
He is the smartest man ever.
Yeah.
No, so Malort, for people who
horrible.
For people who don't know what Malort is, it's the worst ever tasting alcohol.
Garbage juice
that bartenders want to be pompous about. So it's like, oh, it's a bartender drink. It's absolutely awful.
Yep.
But their marketing's fantastic. There's one actual thing with Malort. It's like, oh, it tastes like you're gonna fight your stepdad today. Yeah. So that is the marketing behind Malort, and it tastes like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, everything I've heard about it is like, welcome to my castle, my lady. And they go, thank you, my lord.
My lord.
No, it tastes like Jaeger's messed up cousin, like cracked out cousin. Like
I don't think we're going to be able to welcome a lord onto the advertising family.
I don't want them. So I when I was in ISC,
you could, because they would appreciate what we're saying, because they'd be like, yeah. Be a man, drink it.
Keep laying into it.
So when I was in ISC, Independent Supporters Council, where all the independent supporters groups go and they meet up once a year and they have, it's a great organization, but kind of their indoctrination ceremony when you go for the first time is everybody does a shot of Malort, and I did it.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
It stays on your palate for like 30 minutes too.
I still taste it. This was years ago. It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Have you guys heard of Founders?
Founders, like the beer company?
No, Founders, the bar downtown.
No, I mean I know Founders the brewery.
No, so it's in the El Rey Theater.
Okay.
And it's a little speakeasy. If you've never been,
the tucked in speakeasy.
It's where you go through. It's an amazing
through the freezer.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I have been there. Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that place is great.
I'm sorry if I just gave something away.
No, just look up get the password. Get the password.
Yeah.
But they're all about Malort, and every time they post about it, I'm just like, no. I love you guys so much. Stop saying this.
It's so bad. All right. On to the next one.
Okay.
To be frank, the greatest cartoon from your childhood is blank. There's only one right answer, by the way, and I'm going to judge both of you when you don't pick it.
I think for me it has to be DuckTales.
Woo! That's a good answer. It's a good answer.
That wasn't Dave's answer, but
it's a good.
Where else do you get diving through those gold coins?
Scrooge McDuck.
Or Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles.
Love Ninja Turtles. That's also a
Which
great
child didn't want to dive through the gold coins?
It probably would hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Which child didn't want to have a Master Splinter in their life? Mine's very simple. It's Thundercats.
Oh, God, how old are you?
Older than you think, Frank.
I'm 40 and I barely remember Thundercats.
Well, you are a man who has grown up beyond his
Lucas still
adult years.
Thundercats.
Still very much watch. I'm not saying I got it when I was a child.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
Robert says Looney Tunes, which is also a great
Looney
answer.
Tunes was
Love
amazing.
Looney Tunes. My answer, the one I will always go with for the rest of my life, is Scooby-Doo. Love Scooby-Doo. I grew up on Scooby-Doo. I was in the Scooby-Doo mystery fan club where they sent you little books every month, and I had a little mystery machine cardboard bookshelf, and you put the little books in there. I love Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo has just been sexualized too much as an adult for me.
The new Velma series.
They're
they did that
crazy with that.
I haven't watched. Is that on what, HBO or something?
It's HBO Max, and it is not your father Scooby-Doo, as they would say.
Chris Mancuso says The Simpsons, so intellectually written. I love The Simpsons. Great show.
Well,
it's a great show. It's the longest running sitcom in all history.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna get into adult cartoons, that's a whole different conversation.
So The Simpsons is the longest running sitcom in history, animated or not.
Yep.
South Park is the second longest running animated show in history behind The Simpsons.
So did you guys ever see the South Park episode where it was like Simpsons did it? Simpsons did it.
Yes.
That's how I describe Sky at Tractor. No matter what event or what I need, do you know what? Actually, I'm saying this publicly.
This is public. Look into the camera, Frank.
Yeah, Sky, you're a jerk. I do not like Sky. I do not like Tractor. Not because I don't respect you, but you've done everything. I come up with an original idea, and I'm all like, oh, this is gonna kill, and I'm pumped up, and I get excited, and then it's like, oh yeah, Tractor did that 10 years ago.
It's not an actual dislike. It's an envy for their creativity.
No, it's a dislike. Sky, I dislike you. She has done everything, and I'm not original, and it kills me little by little because I consider myself a decent, intelligent person, and I can't think of anything that woman has not thought of.
It's impressive.
So, Sky,
once you leave some ideas for the rest of us, Sky.
There we go.
Oh, wow. You just fringed her.
Yep. All right, Lucas.
Well,
last
that's
one.
all wildly silly. And so we'll go to a very serious dismount here because this has been an amazing conversation. You've been outstanding. So let's close it down with this. To be frank, the legacy you want to leave is blank.
Honestly, I just hope my daughter's proud of me. That's about it.
I love that.
After everything, and before it was like, oh, I want to be known as a friendly guy. I want to be this and that. But then you have a kid, and it's like, when it comes down to it, like, if I make her proud, then honestly, what everybody else thinks doesn't matter.
When Penny is a grown woman and they have all the access to all the technology in the world, I hope she goes back and listens to that because that's a pretty darn cool thing for your dad to say.
Well, she's kind of amazing. So even though I'm not always the best, but just as long as she's proud of me, that's really all that I care about.
Well, I know that you don't care about our opinions, but our opinions of you are very, very high opinions. We really appreciate you coming on. We appreciate the person you are in the community, the impact you have, the bringing together of people that you do on a consistent basis. Thank you for being here.
Watch party this weekend?
Watch party this weekend at Hollow Spirits, yeah?
Yes, it will be during our grand opening. So there's going to be a
busy
lot
time.
of stuff but we'll have on the game because we will always have on the game. But thank you guys for having me. I do appreciate what you guys are doing and bringing excitement to New Mexico, man. It's amazing.
It takes all of us.
Yep. Well, you tolerated us for about an hour, and the least we can do is give you an opportunity to give a shout out, uninterrupted, unmitigated, to whatever you want to give a shout out to.
The floor is yours, sir.
Yep.
Basically, everybody support United. Come to Hollow Spirits. We have watch parties. We have a bunch of different events, and just come have fun, and then don't talk politics or religion. That's about it.
You heard it here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. With that, we are off for the rest of the week. New Mexico United does take on Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC this Saturday, 7 o'clock. If you're not going up to the match, head on over to Hollow Spirits, hang out with Frank and friends. But until then, Lucas, Somos Unidos.
We are united.
Wait, one more thing.
Oh,
did you
just cut us off.
I'm sorry.
We're good.
One more thing. Z, which is our front of the house bar manager, is competing at Sobremesa. She started a little bit ago. I'm about to head over.
Oh, that's by my house. I'll stop by.
Yeah, she is I will put that woman against anybody when
Is
it comes
it
to
food
bartending.
fights?
It's a bartending competition.
Yo,
Chanel, you're in the chat. You want to go? It's literally right by our house.
Okay, but I gotta give a shout out to Z because she's
in the chat. She said, "Hey Frank, I'm about to compete. Get out of here, Frank."
God.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
No. Now Frank has to do it. Now you say Somos Unidos, and you have to say we are united because you cut me
Frank,
off.
until then, Somos Unidos.
We are united.